let us feel that our purpose is animated and inspired from on high. And then let us go forth as if our dream was already made true in our human experience. And those are beautiful, inspiring words, and I wish I wrote them, but they're from Dr. Ernest Holmes in Science of Mind. Let me read them again. He wrote, let us feel that our purposes are animated and inspired from on high. Then let us go forth and make our dream come true in human experience. That's what we're going to begin our new series of talks, all centered in manifesting our heart's desires, really like doing it. We're going to do it the whole month. And while these words are beautiful and inspiring, and actually accomplishing them requires something really deep within us. Anyone ever take a dream from incubation to manifestation? From the embryonic state to the full-fledged experience of it? The seed of an idea to the full bloom of the plant? Know that sometimes there is some fancy footwork that takes place, and it must happen on this bridge between the seed and the manifestation. The gap that we're calling the incubating of the idea and the manifesting of it. Involution and evolution. Everybody in New Thought just loves those two words because very few people can explain them. But they're used all the time. All the time. Involution, which takes place inside, and evolution, which is the outer. Well, we can take that gap between the incubation and the manifestation and have it unfold perfectly for us. And it doesn't have to be difficult to do that. But it can sometimes feel difficult when we're halfway on the bridge between one and the other. It's like the hallway. One door closes, another opens. But there sometimes is that hallway. And it's the same thing with a bridge. You start at one end and you got to get to the other end. Sometimes you get stuck in the middle of that bridge. And the reason it happens that way is because we really need to let go. This is always, it's almost like, I'm tired of hearing me say this, but it's true. We always have to let go of beliefs that get in the way. That's the only thing that gets in the way of our manifesting. Behaviors, ways of being, what we think about something. Oh no, that's too hard for me. Oh no, I'm not worthy of that. All those things that are going on, even when we're in the now moment. We could be like perfectly, I am so zen. I am in the now moment. But in that now moment, it's full. It's full of old beliefs. It's full of worries about the future. That's a full now moment. That's why breath work and meditation is so important. And the beliefs that have gotten us from here to where we are today might not serve to take us further into the future. I know they don't serve me anymore. Very grateful for them, but now sometimes it's time you got to step out. And that stepping out is like, oh yeah, I'll do that later. For me, it's, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm so busy right now. I'm so very busy right now, but I'm going to do it. So that is all, those are all self-limiting beliefs. And we say it, I say it out loud, we say it to ourselves. In Revealing the Word, Charles Fillmore speaks of chemicalization. It's a word, I like that word too. Whenever a new, this is what it is. This is how he explains what it is. Whenever a new spiritual idea is introduced into the mind, some negative belief is disturbed. It resists, and with this resistance comes more or less commotion in the consciousness. And this is called chemicalization. So when we have a whole new idea, all those beliefs within us are all raising up, go up with all kinds of energy, and it comes out of our mouth and our thoughts as something that will hold us back. That's chemicalization. Well, chemicalization can happen on that bridge from here to there. So we're going to speak this month of March, which is next week, about bridging the gap, or said another way, addressing that chemicalization. And to begin with, we're going to turn to the word gap. I love acronyms. And this one is Grand Adventure in Purpose. So you can remember it. If you can remember the acronym, sometimes I can't remember. People will come up to me right after the talk, like, what was that acronym now? I'll have to get my talk out. It's Grand Adventure in Purpose. Right. Sometimes that gap, that grand adventure in purpose, can be pretty scary. And yet we do it. What we do inside of that gap can make all the difference of what we experience as it manifests. So the month of March, we will successfully bridge that gap. We got lots of good ways, and they say tools, but we do. We have ways of just shifting ourselves and really retraining our consciousness. And we begin this morning, we're going to do something that I don't like doing, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to join, okay, you're going to, all right, let me read this because I don't like this, but it's a really good thing to do and people like it, so. I want you to look, to look to the person to the left and to the right. Not at the same time, but look at each other and say, let's leap together. Let's leap together. Let's leap together. Let's make this committee to leap together. Absolutely. So what is in your heart, really, to do, to be, to experience? Perhaps a dream you have right now. Something to expand the life that you are already living. Something bigger. You know that our whole, for 2024 was good and more good. More of all the good in 2024. So it goes right in with our theme. What we're living is great, but there's always more, because that is the way that the energy of the universe operates. There's always more of it. It's always expanding itself. It doesn't evolve. We evolve. The universe, pure consciousness, expands. Very important. I just learned that this week. Very important to understand that it can't evolve into anything other than what it is. But we, as humans, with that consciousness all through us, or our bodies are in it, whatever, we evolve. So we are evolving this year. Perhaps you have a dream right now to expand the life that you are living into something bigger. Or perhaps you have the desire to double your income. That's nice. Or perhaps you actually want to start getting paid if you're an artist or a performer or any of those kinds of beautiful, creative areas. Actually getting paid well for it. Maybe you like to spice up your current relationship, or dump him or her and get a new one. That's not really it. Maybe I'm in that kind of mood today. I'm just in that mood. Maybe you would like a shift in your career. a different department, a different job, something different. In your own business, maybe. Or how about, maybe some of us would like to retire. I don't, but maybe some people do. People do. They retire. They rewire. They, become something else. Perhaps you would like to really live in a very healthy, happy body. That's always a good one, health. Maybe you're ready to let go of an addiction. I have to confess, I'm not. I like my sugar the way it is. Chocolate and dessert. But I mean, at some point, I might be ready to release that addiction. You might want to do that this year. I'll do it next year. See, that's what I do. Procrastination. The killer of the greatest dreams we could ever have. Or maybe you would like to become a practitioner or a minister. You can do that. So, there was a time, and perhaps you had something very similar to this, probably around 1996, 1997, several years before I became a minister, or even had the nudge to do such a thing, because I really didn't, but things seemed pretty okay. 5 years prior, I had found religious science, loved it, took every class that was available, every workshop, anything to do with it, I took it. Attended weekly services because I wanted to be with all this community. So I had pretty much manifested a beautiful home, some new beautiful spiritual friends, all of that. The life I was living was pretty good. It was pretty good. And I was feeling okay. I wasn't feeling super okay, but things seemed like they were moving in the right direction. But they weren't. Not really. There was a dissatisfaction in me, and maybe you can relate to this. Something that I just felt dissatisfied. Now I know it's called divine discontent. Write that down. Divine discontent, because that can happen when everything is just going, there's something within us that wants to birth forth, but we don't know what it is. But there's something more. That's what I knew. Something more to be doing with my life. I had no clue what that could possibly be. None. Some expansion, some way of living life to its fullest, but I didn't know what it was. I had absolutely no idea. And I know that a lot of you might feel this same way, right where you are. Everything's going great. It looks wonderful. And people think you're crazy if you were to say that. That's why you don't tell people these things. You hold them. If you tell anyone, tell a practitioner or a minister or a very spiritual person. So something very important must happen at this juncture, or you will be sitting here next year. We did a visioning in January. You'll be sitting here next year wishing and hoping that you can expand your life more, that you can live into something bigger, that you can double your income, actually start getting paid as an artist, spice up your current relationship or get a new one, have healthier, vibrant body, let go of the addiction, become a practitioner or a minister. Something has to happen in order for any of those things to occur. We can't just sit there and vision it and wish for it. Well, we could, and we do, but it's not going to happen unless we take some action. We have to take a step, a leap of faith that will just send us into midair. Talk about chemicalization. It will upset, sometimes, if it's a big change, it will upset just about everything in your life, as it is supposed to, Just confusion, chaos, and then comes out of that, just like the butterfly in the chrysalis, out of that comes the beauty, comes exactly what it is that you wish to experience. And I love this definition of faith. Faith is knowing that as you step off the cliff, one of two things can happen. Either the ground will rise up to meet us, or we will spread our wings and fly. One or the other. That's faith. That's faith. Or you may have heard this. It's by a French poet whose name I'm not even going to attempt to say here. His last name is Apollinaire, but I'm not going to even try the first one. So this is what he wrote. Come to the edge of the cliff, he said. We can't. We are afraid. Come to the edge of the cliff, he said. We can't. We're afraid we'll fall. Come to the edge of the cliff, he said. And so we came. He pushed, and we flew. It's a great, great definition. The leap of faith, which is what this talk is entitled, requires action, and it requires a knowing that all is well. You actually have to do something. You actually have to take some action. Most of us usually start the year off, as we just did, with good intentions. We visioned in January. We get clear about our dreams, our visions, and so we start the whole new year with these strong intentions. And those commitments that people do in January. And all of a sudden we realize it's March, because it's almost March. And we haven't accomplished not one single thing of it. We haven't even started to move on those visions that we had in January, intentions. We haven't done a thing, and that's fine not to be guilty about it. We don't want to do that. But we haven't even taken a step closer to the cliff, let alone leap off of it. We haven't moved. And if you can relate, if it sounds familiar at all, like I said, don't beat yourself up. It's actually pretty common. Most people do this because life can get in the way, because we can procrastinate, because we can ignore what we had and know in the back of our mind that that's what we want to do, but we haven't taken any action. That's why today I'd like to share 3 ideas that will help us get off the edge of that cliff, or the edge, as Mary Morrissey says, the edge of becoming, that green edge of becoming. First, to connect regularly, and really regularly, and dare I say daily, with your vision. Every morning, write it down even. Every morning, just sit with that vision, even 2 minutes. Sit with the vision. And maybe you have heard this quote, because we need to do things daily. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. And that's why we recommend it every day. Every day. You don't just do it once. Every day we do that. Lack of motivation is the number one reason why people don't follow through with their plans. Author Howard Thurman wrote in The Inward Journey, which I love so much, "So in the quietness of this place, surrounded by an all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. that in fair weather or foul, in good times or in tempest, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that for which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Daily, to keep fresh before you those moments of your high resolve. Spend those minutes, a few minutes every day, with your vision, with what you want to accomplish, seeing it in detail. Make a list. How many people make lists? How many make like 2, 3, and 4 lists? Yeah, okay. But is the best feeling crossing off something? Isn't that fun? That really makes my day when I can, especially those big ones. But how many of you take one of the items on your list and then repeat it every day? It goes onto the new list. Yeah, right? Yeah. Right? Like, I'll do that one tomorrow, but I can cross up these, but I'll do that one tomorrow. Well, if it goes on more than 3 times, I would suggest that all of us, including me, do it today. Today. Feel your vision. Really feel it. Ernest Holmes talks about a mental equivalent, and that's having the picture, the feeling of what we desire in our mental state, in our hearts, in our very being. Mental equivalent, hold that idea, see the picture of it already done, and feel what you want to feel. And then you are on your way. You're on your way. Second, we just did this one, create a list of small steps. That's what we can do. Instead of putting the big thing up there, put a bunch of smaller things that we know we can really accomplish. So make the phone call, write the letter, have the conversation, whatever it is. Write the paper, whatever it is. Make sure that you cross at least one of those items up in your vision. Now this is a whole nother list. This is a list for your vision. Small steps. Cross one off each day. And before you know it, the vision is made manifest. Holmes writes this on page 477 in The Science of Mind. Our mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, from prayer to performance. This would be a well-balanced existence, he says. From prayer to performance, I love that. From prayer to performance. Don't just pray about it. Act on it. Prayer without actions are dead works. That, right? Yeah. It doesn't really happen if you don't take the steps. And that's when the rubber hits the road, when we really start moving. Third way, let go of that which is stopping you from moving forward. Replace an old belief with a new idea. Change the habit, set boundaries, and if you're around people who are naysayers, really set those boundaries. Because whatever is preventing us from succeeding in life is right there. It's right within our grasp, but we gotta move through the old beliefs. And this is not selfish. Taking care of ourselves is the most important thing we can do. And that means in every way, shape, and form. And that means with our beliefs too. It's a part of loving and honoring who we are. And we're beautiful beings of the light of God, of infinite intelligence. That's what we are. And that's true. And as I've been saying a lot lately, because it's incredible, quantum physics is proving this to be true. Consciousness is everything. And we are pure consciousness. We are not honoring God if we don't honor ourselves. We are not. And that's what we have to remember. The old stuff about being selfish, that doesn't exist. not for us. It doesn't exist. Do what it takes to release whatever may be stopping you from moving forward. And it is these three ideas firmly in mind, holding them firmly in mind and in practice, that we can take that leap of faith. And they are regular connection with your vision, daily connection with your vision, small, regular steps toward it, consciously evaluating and letting go of whatever may be standing in the way. And I want to close with a poem. It's anonymous, so we'll just take in the words. Just like a flower in bloom, I have learned to open up and stretch myself, living life more fully than ever before. Just like the bird takes flight, I've learned to spread my wings and lift off and let go and trust in God's power and presence to support and uphold me. Just like the ocean tides change from morning to night, I've learned to surrender to God's divine flow and move with the current of life easily and gently. Just like the stars and moon shine brightly in the evening sky, I've learned to be still and let my inner light shine forth. Just like the rain falls, sometimes really gently and sometimes hard, I've learned to detach from the outcome and stay in the moment. Just like the natural disasters of fires, flood, earthquakes, and storms, which are all happening in California. It's not part of the poem, but it just came across, so we got to pray for California because all those things are happening there. Okay, back to the poem. I've learned to recognize my part in all creation, taking responsibility for my errors and releasing the wreckage of my past. I've learned to stop, meditate, and pray to clear my vision of God's divine path for me. Just like there is pain and grief over the loss of loved ones, I've learned that life and love go on, transcending even death, honoring their memory in service of others. Just like a butterfly undergoes tremendous change, both within and without, I've learned to accept my transformations gracefully, with love, forgiveness, and gratitude. Just like God made me in its image, I've learned that the faith and divine right action, with that, anything is possible. And you just have to do it, because sometimes, as author Margaret once wrote, sometimes your only available transportation is a leap of faith. We live in a quantum universe where there is field of everything, is a field of infinite potentiality, everything. Nothing is too great or too hard when you truly believe in yourself, when you truly have the faith. Everything that we each individually desire is already present in that field of infinite potentiality. It's ours to claim. So, my friends, I ask you, if you want to experience your desire, take that leap. Take that leap. Because either the ground will rise to meet you, or you will spread your wings and fly. And so it is.
So it is.